citizen to a citizen, fool. Citizen to a citizen, fool.
Another one.
Utilize.
And now, our feature presentation.
Pause, yeah.
All right. Welcome back, citizens, and welcome to episode 10.
Pause.
All right, so we have episode 10. I'm not making these stories up, and I'm not looking for these stories, but they do apply. And this one's a sad one. I think all of them are sad when any life gets lost senselessly. And in this case, it's really two lives, depending on how you look at it. So last night in Pembroke Pines, Florida, there was a guy that went in to a GameStop to go ahead and shoplift, and that guy was killed by, they're saying he's the store manager. I'm not too clear on that. One story says he just works there, the other story says he's a store manager. Let me roll in the clip and then we'll get right back to it.
A GameStop employee is facing charges for shooting a suspected shoplifter. This happened at a store in Pembroke Pines, and it happened last night.
Amanda Placencia is live for us in Pembroke Pines with new information on this investigation. Amanda, what do you know?
Well, Shelley and Roxy, police say that the victim in this case tried to take merchandise from inside this GameStop store. You can see it's closed today, as police say that then the employee ended up shooting and killing that victim. Now, 33-year-old Derek Guerrero is the GameStop employee who has been arrested for the crime. The man who was shot was taken to the hospital with serious injuries and has since died. Pembroke Pines police say they responded to the shopping center off of Pines Boulevard and Hiatus Road around 8:15 last night. They learned Guerrero noticed the man shoplifting inside that GameStop. Police say Guerrero then confronted the shoplifter, and the man ran towards the door with the merchandise. Then investigators say Guerrero pulled out a gun from his waistband and fired, hitting that victim inside the store. Now, investigators tell us Guerrero was a victim in a separate crime when the GameStop was robbed back in September, so he had bought the gun used in this crime for his protection. Now, in this case, the victim's girlfriend, who was waiting outside, called 911.
The victim was shot and subsequently ran into a vehicle that was awaiting, which was being driven by his girlfriend, and they left the scene. The girlfriend stopped within the plaza and called 911 due to the fact that the victim was unresponsive in the front seat. And that's how we became involved initially, from that 911 call from the victim's girlfriend.
Now, in this case, Guerrero has been charged with manslaughter. Police say that the victim did not threaten him or flash any type of weapon during this crime. Live in Pembroke Pines, Amanda Placencia, NBC6 News.
Okay, so here's the sad part. The sad parts. This guy, this shoplifter, he got killed shoplifting, right? Which at best, it could be a misdemeanor, or it could be a felony, depending on how much he shoplifted, but none of it is worth losing your life over. So message to shoplifters. I mean, it's not worth it.
You played yourself.
Whatever it is you're shoplifting, even if it's something as small as food because you can't eat, it's not worth it, because what happens is, you may be going into a store and, one of the people there may be suffering from PTSD or from a prior experience. And I say that on purpose because the store manager who, or the store employee at GameStop who shot and killed this shoplifter, sadly enough, was prior military. He was in the Marines, I believe, for 10 years. He has a wife, he has 2 kids. He was previously robbed at that GameStop, and that's when he made the decision to go get a firearm. And if you've been following anything in Florida, I think it was April 3rd, 2023, DeSantis signed a bill for constitutional carry, which basically says you don't have to get a concealed carry permit to carry a firearm concealed. Now, here's the thing. I'm all for constitutional carry, things of that nature. But what a lot of people don't understand is, with that permit, so for example, North Carolina, so I'm a concealed carry instructor in North Carolina, and I'm able to issue the certificates needed to fulfill your concealed carry obligation, or to complete your application, right? You can't submit an application for concealed carry permit in North Carolina without completing an 8-hour course. 5 or 6 of those hours have to be classroom hours. 3 will be range, where you have to qualify. And then you also have to complete a 20-question test. So you have to take the class. You have to go ahead and take the test, and then you also have to get on the range and qualify, where you're shooting 10 rounds within a particular grouping at 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards, hitting, I believe it's 85%. Well, I say 85%. I think it's 75%, but I tell my participants 85%. Anyway, that's North Carolina. It varies. Florida, I don't believe you have to take that class. Oh no, Florida, yeah, I'm not sure. I've had my concealed carry permit in Florida. I've had it in Georgia, and currently have it in North Carolina. But I've only been an instructor in North Carolina, so that's when I really got into the legalities of everything. And Florida, it does away with that. It does away with the training, and the biggest part of the training, say for example in North Carolina, is going over the legalities of carrying a gun, a justified shoot versus an unjustified shoot, where you can carry a gun, when you can carry a gun or a firearm, what type of firearm you can carry. So basically the education goes, even though it's right there in a short period of time, it gets delivered, right? And I can't help but think that perhaps if this veteran, this retired military individual working at GameStop as an employee or a manager or both, if he had those, if he had that legal training, that perhaps he would have thought twice before firing a shot. The news clip says he fired 1 shot, and that 1 shot killed that shoplifter. So clearly he's proficient. They do say that Marines are the best shooters out there, and he proved it. He proved it that night, and now he's facing manslaughter. It's not voluntary manslaughter because it wasn't predetermined, it wasn't pre-planned. Even though an attorney can argue that it was pre-planned based on his previous experience. You know, he was robbed before at the same GameStop, so you know they can argue that, hey, well, I'm going to go get a gun, and the next time somebody comes in, I'm going to be ready. That's kind of pre-planning, especially since on this second occasion, this shoplifter didn't have a gun, didn't have a weapon, didn't have anything that would justify the use of deadly force. And I'll roll those in again. It seems like I'm doing this on every video, and it's sad because we have to really understand the responsibility of carrying a firearm, whether it be concealed or not concealed. It's like when to use it, when not to use it. You know, how is it going to impact you? How is it going to impact the person that you shot? What happens if you miss that person and you shoot somebody who wasn't even involved in the situation? You know, I go back to, I forget the guy's name, but I think this was Florida too, where, you know, he cut somebody off. He was driving, he cut somebody off. And you can see, and I'll roll in the video, you can see in the video where he realizes he cuts him off. The guy behind him is beeping him, you know, he's laying on the horn, and then he hits the brakes, you know, so now he's antagonizing the guy behind him. And following that, the guy now comes to his side, and he's getting ready. In his mind, he's getting ready to go ahead and retaliate because he thinks something is going to happen to him.
It's the heart-stopping moment shots ring out on a busy Miami highway. Video of the dangerous road rage incident was just released to the public. The video starts with Eric Popper, a civilian fire inspector, looking relaxed and singing. Next, police say the 30-year-old cuts off another car. Oh my God. You can hear the other driver honking his horn. Popper glares at the rearview mirror. He says the other driver is tailgating and making obscene hand gestures. Moments later, Popper opens his center console and carefully removes a handgun. When the other vehicle pulls up, Popper opens fire. Cops say he fired 11 times. If you look closely, you can see the other driver apparently throwing a water bottle at the car. Popper says he thought he was being fired upon and was acting in self-defense.
Where's your gun? Oh, yeah.
So he pulls out his firearm from his armrest, and he just starts shooting because the guy threw a bottle. Granted, the guy threw a plastic bottle at his car, and he felt his life was in danger. Okay, I get that, but training will tell you you have to visually see the threat, right? In other words, you know, the handgun, or you have to audibly hear a gunshot. And then was that gunshot meant for you? Just because you hear a gunshot doesn't mean you shoot the first person that you see. Okay, let's just be clear on that. But anyway, let me roll in that clip.
It's the heart-stopping moment shots ring out on a busy Miami highway. Video of the dangerous road rage incident was just released to the public.
Yes, as you can see, he's just shooting. At one point in time, he closed his eyes. So he's driving and shooting, he closed his eyes. Anyway, long story short, he's very lucky. The charges were dismissed.
This guy, who was reported by his own dash cam opening fire on another driver on I-95, the defendant has maintained he thought he was being shot at, and that's why he grabbed his gun.
So the charges were dismissed, but this guy, you know, I don't know what to say about this, but I can tell you that from, you know, just looking at it at face value, it was irresponsible and could have gotten a lot more people hurt. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in that instance. But going back to our GameStop instance, you know, it's unfortunate. There was a lot lost. This is another senseless situation where had you just been had a little bit more training and a little bit more discipline, which was confusing because when I learned he was a Marine, wait a minute, let me just stop there. I'm not blaming this guy. This gentleman, you know, he tried to stop a shoplifter, but let's just be clear. In this situation, you don't have to be a judge, a detective, or an attorney to know that excessive force was used, making this an unjustified use of deadly force by definition. You know, and I may even use this in my next class and my classes to come to just say, hey, this is when you shouldn't use deadly force. Somebody is jumping over a counter, stealing property. Bigger than that, property that does not belong to you, where you're just in charge of the brick and mortar, and he's running out of the store, and you shoot and kill this person, unarmed.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Let's pause there and just think about that. It's excessive, you know. Now, the gentleman who went in there to shoplift, listen, bad decision, you know, because you don't know what you're walking into, and whatever you're walking out with is not worth your life. All right, I'll leave it right there. I didn't want this to be a long one. I keep saying that, but I'm really gonna try and stick to it.
So, thanks for checking out the video. Stay tuned for the next one.
Citizen to a citizen, boy. Citizen to a citizen, boy.
Key to life.